Love Movement, along with my co-host, Toya TC Capri. Yes. And the Musty Man got some things to talk about tonight. But we have a very special guest, and it's from the bottom of my heart that I love this lady. We're childhood friends, 50 plus years. Went to Horatio May on the west side of Chicago. And we're going to introduce her in a minute. But this show is sponsored by 717 Club 717. Please call them and book your dates. Now, my friend, Deborah her background speaks for itself. Many accolades, many guest speaking appearances. She's done a whole lot of things. And, worldwide, known all over. And she's a truly spokesperson for autism. And I want to welcome you.
Thank you for having me. You know, I had to come on the Love Movement show. The Love Movement with the Musty Man. I didn't have to go back and forth on Facebook with you. I could actually sit across on the microphone and just have a good time. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here, though. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and what's so special about this is that I've seen her grow. I've seen her grow into the woman that she is right now. And it's been a pleasure to watch her.
Thank you, Chris.
It's just chilling right now.
But you know what? That's reciprocal though, because like you say, we grew up together, but a lot of time passed by, and then we ended up moving in Maywood.
Yes,
in the early 70s.
Yeah, with late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s. When you were the police officers.
Yeah. So,
but
we did some special things together. But Deborah, I am so proud of you and everything that you've accomplished and what you're trying to do. It makes me proud. But
thank you.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna ask you a group of questions. Well, I'm gonna ask you a question. I just want you to fill in the blanks. It might be 3 questions or 2 questions or 1 question, but you're a unique young lady. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by uniqueness is that you have a child that's autistic. Mm-hmm. Please explain to us what autistic is and what level or what stages do autistic fall into.
Okay, well, first of all, again, thank you so much for having me today. And my amazing son, Jason, who is now 35 years old, I don't know how that is because, Chris, we just 45?
Yeah, something close to that.
45 years old, so I don't know how that happened, but Jason's 35 and he's thriving every single day. Jason is, I would say the level of the spectrum Jason is on, it's so many levels of autism, and that's why it's called a spectrum. Firstly, let me talk about what autism is. In layman's terms, autism is a developmental disorder that impacts socialization and behavior. Now, you can have someone that is on the spectrum that has a college degree.
Yeah.
But their socialization skills suck. They can't have reciprocal conversation because they get super nervous. They just can't adapt socially. And then you have the Jasons who can feed himself, dress himself, make his own bed, clean up, be engaged to a certain degree, but can't count change. No, he can count change from $1 now. We've worked on that for many years, and now he can do that, but he doesn't know danger. So he does have to have someone with him, like with crossing the street. And I can't leave him at home for a couple hours at a time. For those that's listening, I have cameras everywhere.
That's right.
I can leave him
at home. You have pistols too.
I have friends with pistols.
Hello.
and so, you know, it's just teaching him those life skills that he needs, because although I asked God to let me live 100 years, I mean, one day I'm going to go. But I just want him to be healthy and happy. And going back to the levels of the autism spectrum, that's why it's called the spectrum. So I'm so happy that the community is opening their heart to autism and opening their heart to disabilities and being more aware of the disability community and Black and brown communities, because for a long time, I mean, just really think about this. You did not see people in our community with their children with disabilities.
Right.
But when you go in other ethnicities, They can have wheelchairs, oxygen tanks. They have their kids out.
Right.
But I tell you, it's a shift in the atmosphere now in Black and brown communities as it relates to the disability community, because they're becoming more open because the numbers are going up.
Well, that's thankful to you, because you done brought that out of a lot of people that's in this community with your galas, with your dances, with all of these things to make them feel comfortable as who they are.
Well, that was the goal, so I'm glad that we're succeeding.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's not just me. You know, it's almost like a roller coaster effect now. It's starting to catch on, and you know, people aren't as uncomfortable around people with disabilities, because our main goal was to inform and educate the community at the same time while bringing our children with us so that they can see, hey, this can be you. In the blink of an eye. Not necessarily having a child with autism, you can have a stroke. You can have a traumatic brain injury that's going to give you some of the same characteristics of being on the autism spectrum. You'll be disabled. So that's one of our main goals, is to educate the community so that they can be comfortable around our kids.
All right. Now, I'm finna go a little deep there because this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
You did a little prison time. You're special to me. It's just you joke about me taking you to the police station one day.
I have to tell this story. You know, since this feels a transparent conversation, and you know, my life is an open book now. I mean, internationally. But this one particular time when I was in that dark space, I was doing some things that I shouldn't have been doing, and lo and behold, who had to arrest me? Experiencing some things. It was an experience, but you know, when I looked at when I looked at Chris's face, and he's like, "Deb, come on," you know. But I tell you, it's like it was decades ago. It was decades and decades. But since then, let's talk about jail. Let's talk about that. Now let's talk about the horse.
Yeah.
What got me to jail was the choices that I made with drugs. And, you know, and whoever's listening, I talked about this earlier, because I went through a long spell, and I understood the reasons why when God blessed me with drug court and then blessed me with rehab. Because I used to look at rehab when I was in addiction, I would look at rehab as places where people escaped. But rehab was a lifeline for me. Not to go to prison for multiple years, but it was a lifeline to save my life. I learned about why I was using, why I was in the state that I was in, and it was primarily because my entire life changed when I had Jason. Not to blame it on him, the situation. And I could have handled it differently, but I was alone. I didn't know how to handle it. There's a lot of parents out there now that are going through the same thing that I went through. That's why I did that TED Talk. Right. Special parents have needs too, because you look up and you're doing everything for your kid, and you do not have anything for yourself anymore. That's why it's so important for us as women and men too, as people, to take those mental health moments, those mindfulness moments, those wellness moments, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, even if it's just an hour, because you can go down a slippery slope. And the next thing you know, you are sliding, and then you're drowning. And I was drowning. I drowned for a long time. I think they turned that key 13 times. And when people say 13 is an unlucky number, it's a lucky number for me. It's a blessed number for me, because that was the last time that I saw any bars where I couldn't open up a door and go out. Right. That was the last time. And I vowed to God then that when he gave me that second chance, it wasn't about the time that I wasn't going to spend in prison. It was about the time that I wanted to live. And I could have been in prison, been out of jail, and still in jail, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
And so my life has opened up to a point where I wake up, and I was telling my friend the other day, I said, I thought I was waking up in tears because I was sad. But the Holy Spirit told me this morning, you waking up in tears because it's joy. And you having joy in your sleep. So I thank you, God, for that, because I thought that I was waking up in tears because I was crying. But I'm so overwhelmingly happy right now, because my agency is 16 years old. We never closed our doors, not even in the round of administration.
Yes.
Being able to go to treatment centers and talk to women about the struggles that I had because of where I was. And even with being a widow, My husband will be gone 5 years in May. Even with being widow, my life has taken a shift. And it's a shift that I'm still trying to find myself in so many ways. But the community that I work in, the work that I do just brings me so much joy, seeing the families thrive. And even just seeing, even you just getting your own show, and all of us just in the third quarter of our life, just enjoying it. And, you know, COVID taught us one thing. If it didn't teach us but one thing, it taught us that you matter. You got a chance to look in that mirror a little bit more than when getting up every day, running outside the house. And you got a chance to just really take a look at yourself and the people that were around you, and to see the love and the support that you have around you. So I've learned how to not take everything personal.
Right.
To know that the stake that I want to put in this life, that God has given me so many chances to keep going and to just spread the love.
But listen, and all the callers, if you got any questions, please call us at 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. You said something just a minute ago that's very important to me. You're a widow. You're a mother of an autistic child. You've been to prison. What those struggles that you've been through, how has that affected you? And say, far as relationships and all of that kind of stuff. Talk to us.
Ooh, let me get my coat. I'm leaving. Okay, so as it relates to relationships, you know, and I'm not even just talking about man-woman, you know, heterosexual relationships, even relationships with friends and family. I just see everything different now. I do. I see everything different, and nothing that's not important doesn't matter.
Right.
If it's not important to shift in someone else's life, if it's not important enough to shift my life or to change the narrative of the community, it's not important.
Right.
If it's not bringing joy and happiness, it's not important. So,
was Jason born when you went to prison or after?
Mm-hmm.
When he was born while you was in prison?
No. All of this happened after Jason was born.
Okay.
Everything happened after Jason.
Okay.
Before Jason, you remember I was working at Sure Best right on 5th Avenue and School Street. Everything was, I'm sure that some of you all listen that I was your hairstylist. I was the hairstylist for the entire Maywood Police Department, me and Marcia Mahone. and I don't think... I don't think a lot of people know that I was a hairstylist, and I also was a model for a very long time, and I am resurrecting my modeling career.
Oh, I see you sponsorships.
Amen.
Amen.
Got
everything
God is
going.
good.
Yeah,
God is good.
best
But you know, but that's my joy. My joy is walking that runway. It just, I'm telling you, it's something that I can't explain it, but it's so funny that when I started the Answer Incorporated, I told my husband, I said, I love what I do. I love helping the families with disabilities, but I want to model. He said, you better walk that runway for autism.
Yeah.
And go help these people.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And you know that's good words from your husband.
Yeah.
He's a great dude.
He was.
I'm not gonna say he was because his spirit still lives. With Jason, and we used to see y'all hanging out, and it was a team.
Yeah. Let me tell you though. I don't think people really know just the closeness that CB and James and I had. And he's everybody's brother in the community. Let's just say that. But when I would go out without my husband, and you know, he would say, "Is Chris gonna be there?"
He knew you was good.
It's a great possibility, because let me tell you about this man. Wherever I am, he's gonna make sure I get to my car. He's gonna make sure I'm okay. And the entire time, you good. So, and he does that with all of his sisters in the community. Yes. So when you call this the love movement, because that's what you edify is love.
Yeah, Deborah and I came up with that during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
It's because a lot of people wasn't showing love.
Mm-hmm.
It was, we was missing that love. We was missing a lot of things, and I said, no, we can't live like this.
Mm-hmm.
The hate, the riots, all of that. I said we can't live like this. So I came up with the love movement, and then A little while later, I came up with
The musty
man.
man.
Because people was doing musty stuff, and I was like, no, we can't live like this either.
Just thinking.
You know what I'm saying? So we just trying to have a little fun and go from there.
If I could ask a question, Deborah. So I wanted to specifically ask, when your son was formally diagnosed with autism, do you remember how you felt in that moment?
I do, and you know, before he was diagnosed, let me just tell you, so I have another son, Mark. Mark is 49. How did that happen? 49, and I'm still 45.
45.
I'll take it to 45. And so I told my husband, I said, so Jason was born, he was a preemie, 24 weeks. The doctors told us that he would have developmental challenges. So I was like, okay. But I wasn't looking for developmental challenge. I was looking, okay, you're going to gain this weight, and we're going to keep this train going, okay? But as he began to gain weight, he just didn't have that eye contact. You know, I knew what a typical child looked. I mean, my oldest son, Mark, he just thrived. He walked real fast. He ran, everything. But Jason, things were just moving a little slow. But this one particular day, Toya, he woke up. Now, Jason will wake my husband up. He would just go downstairs and pull all the pots out of it. Okay, Jason's up. One particular morning, the house was just quiet. So I was like, oh, we slept a long time. Jason went. We went downstairs. He was in the middle of the floor, just sitting there in a lethargic state. So we were shaking him. Jason. He just looking straight ahead. So we took him to the emergency room. It's like, oh, hey, you know, he's probably just going through something. But they didn't tell us anything. They checked him out, make sure he was physically fine. We brought him back home. I took him to 4 hospitals before we got the diagnosis from Rush that he had autism, and he was 18 months old then. And I'll tell you, my heart was in my stomach because the only thing that I knew about autism was Rain Man. So, of course, you know what we do as moms, we go into overdrive. I didn't have a computer. And I don't know if you heard my TED Talk. It was a computer store. You remember the computer store right there on 17th and Roosevelt?
Yes.
So they used to throw away computer parts. And I would get the computer parts and I would just build me a computer so that I could learn about autism. And that's what I did. I was just driven to find out what I could do for my son. When he would go to school, he would come home and have school again. But then the addiction set in. So I'm not going to say that I was not. I have to say I wasn't 100% because you can't be 100% to be an addict. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. But I was intentional about making sure that he could be the best that he can be until I went away to jail. But my husband kept it going, though. He kept it moving. He held things down all 13 times. He held things down, and between him and my girlfriend, Portia. Yeah. Portia, his godmother, and a couple of family members. But he held it down. But getting that diagnosis of autism is something that a lot of people don't accept, especially in our community. Mm-hmm. Firstly, when they take them to the doctor and they get the diagnosis, some of them don't accept it fast enough and go into the mode of therapies and things like that to make them better, because there's no cure for autism yet, but you can get better. So what my advice to someone that has gotten the diagnosis, and even if you have any inkling that your child is on any type of spectrum or you see anything different, do not take no for an answer with these doctors. Mm-hmm. Because as much as I love the medical profession, I respect you all, but I think that the narrative of going to the doctor is a lot different now. And I know you see it, so I'm not going to even go into that because I don't want to make nobody mad. We can do another show on that. But you have to make sure you ask the questions. The first thing I want parents to do is to get an advocate. Call an answer or call another advocate, but take somebody with you. Go to the doctor, you and your husband, and an advocate, so that they can ask all the questions that you need to know, and then make a game plan for the goals that you want for your child. 3-month goals, 1-month goal. Make goals so that you look up and you say, oh, because one goal that I was adamant about with Jason is tying his shoes. He didn't tie his shoes until he was 8. I didn't even know he knew how to tie them until James said, I'm going to go in here and help Jason get his shoes on. He went in the other room and Jason had shoes on, they were tied. So, they and just be very intentional on your kid being the best they can be. Because I think what happens with a lot of parents that have children with disabilities you know, you get so overworked, and then they have other children, other responsibilities, and they kind of get left by the wayside just a little bit, and especially when there's behavior problems involved, because at some point you just want that kid to stop biting you, to stop headbutting you, to stop screaming, because I promise you, Jason did all of that. He was a headbutter. You see all these bite marks? That's Jason. The Jason that you see now is well and new and improved, but he is on a cocktail of medication, but the same medication he's been on for 14 years. I don't want to take him off, but the doctor said that it's so minute, but I don't want to take him off until God tell me to. But Jason's doing great, and every kid can do greater, but I promise you, it just takes work. It's work. It's a lot of work.
Those are the different challenges that I was thinking about. It's like, man, this lady's doing this by herself 99% of the time. I see her with Jason, and I know men coming after you, and
where y'all at?
They have to be the right type of man, though.
They do. So let's just put that out there, right?
All right, let's put that out there. Yeah. So.
I was telling Ramoski this morning. He said, I know that you are really dating a lot, and I think I've been on 2 dates since my husband passed away.
Oh wow.
And this one guy told me, he said, you too busy for me, and I'm okay with that, because anyone that approaches me or is interested in me, the first thing I tell them is I have my own company and I have a son that's a 35-year-old toddler. So if you can handle that, we can talk.
That's deep. Yeah.
And because those are the 2 priorities. They come first.
Right now, listen. Out of all the accolades and out of all the things I've seen, awards that I've seen you get, and matter of fact, the awards that I've seen you present to others. At your shows and your gala and stuff like that. Tell me about the experience with CNN Hero.
Don't make me cry.
Come on now, we got it.
I got all goosey and Lucy on the Ramoski show this morning. Okay, so I go, since we have a little time, I start all the way from the beginning. Okay. I received a phone call from CNN about 1.5 years ago. Maybe it's closer to 2 years now, because it's a vetting process. Everybody think, okay, you was on stage and, you got the votes and we have to vote for you. No. This is an entire vetting process. They called me and they said, well, someone submitted an application for you to be a CNN hero. And I was like, oh my God. And it was Suzanne Le'Mion from Channel 2 News and my friend Dr. Lori Cobbins.
Yeah, them your dogs.
Yeah, but we talked about the application, but I actually had forgotten that it had been submitted. And so they called and they said, well, we want to send you a list of documents. And so I had to send back all these documents. It was, I promise you, it's like I was being vetted by the FBI. So anything about my life is totally public now. That's why I'm so good.
Transparent,
because everybody knows. And so anyway, they came to Maywood, and they had a camera crew. They followed me for 4 days. They practically lived at my house. They were there sun up to sundown. They followed me to church. We went to so many places. They went to my job. They went to the place where we hold our programs at the Groovy Park District, and it was just such a great experience. But I tell you, I was happy the entire time, because I just saw how many people supported what I was doing and just wanted to see me be on this stage in the top 10. And every day people were voting, and they were texting me saying, I voted. I mean, early in the morning, I will wake up to people saying, I voted for you. And that's what makes me so emotional, is the love. Even though I didn't make it to number 1, I made it to the top 10.
Hey, call the love line, 708-223-8953. Call the love line if you got any questions for Deborah. But Deborah, that's an awesome achievement and honor. And then it's from a girl from the West Side, in the heart of the West Side. And a lot of people get this. 60 to 70% of the people on the West Side had some type of experiment with drugs.
Oh yeah.
Trust me. And for you to come out of what you went through, I salute you, man.
It's a God. Yeah. We got to give him all the glory, because I promise you, when you say yes to God, the doors that open up, God gets all the glory. And I wish that I could have said that on the stage. So getting back to the process, so they flew me to New York. Okay. Both my kids, Mark came from Alabama, met us there, and put us up in this beautiful hotel. When I first got there, they handed me an envelope with cash in to say, this is for you. going to New York. And then they gave me a room. I can't even get it out. The experience was just amazing. But I tell you, but then it came down to the night of, right? So we sitting in the green room. Holly Robinson, Dionne Warwick walks in first.
Okay.
Dionne Warwick. So
she gonna be at the Rivers Casino in a couple weeks.
So I said, oh my God, this is Dionne Warwick. My mom loves Dionne Warwick. So I went and introduced myself, and she said, I know who you are. I've read all about you. I was, Miss Dionne Warwick. And I'm not easily starstruck. I'm not. But it was some of Dionne Warwick, because my mother just played her songs all the time. Some tickets. And I said, can I call my mother on FaceTime so you can say hi to her? She's 82 years old. She said, call her. Yeah. So she said hi, my mother. My mother couldn't even talk. But anyway, so Holly Robinson Pete walks in. And Mark was like, Mama, Holly Robinson Pete just walked in. She just walked in. I didn't know she was his childhood crush. And so I turned around and I was like, hey, Holly. He said, Mama, she know you. She know you. So that was just a great experience. And so Holly and I had been interacting, DMing each other on Instagram for like 2 years. I went to a book signing about 7 years ago when she came out with her first book. And so we had this internet relationship. I didn't know she was going to be there. She surprised me because I kept inviting her saying, are you going to be at CNN? You going to be at CNN? Because she congratulated me. She was sharing stuff and everything. She was sending a heart, just a heart. And when she came in, she said, I wanted to surprise you. I didn't want to tell you I was coming. So that was just such a great experience. And she's going to honor me at her gala this year in May. I'm sorry, July 15th in LA.
Oh, Jesus, awesome. Some more money, another hotel room. You just going to be clowning.
When God blesses you, when he blesses you, he does not play.
Yeah, right. That's it.
I mean, get me started.
Well, however it goes. But listen, from a personal note, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I really am. You've been through a lot, and it's a big challenge to have an autistic kid, a widow, and the things that you've been through in prison. And Lord have mercy, me and your brother was in the same class. That's just how far.
That's how we became friends, because him and my deceased brother. My brother actually passed away 10 days before my husband. Right. So I lost two very important men in my life within 10 days. And so him and my brother were close. And then as we became adults, me and him became friends. So it was just like we just family.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's very important that for the people out there, if you have any questions or anything that you need to know about autism, please contact the Answer Inc. And where should they call?
Yes, they can call 708-296-5651. That number is a 24-hour number. And if you call, you will get a phone call back. You will not have to wait 2 or 3 days, because one thing that I promised myself, that when I start this agency, which is 16 years old, I would not have a family wait 2 or 3 days before they get a phone call back, because sometimes you just need to give them one word to keep them going, right? Chris, sis, I have waited days. I mean, I have called in tears. Jason screamed one time from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 2 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to take me, and just jump out the window. I couldn't take it no more. It was horrible. And so we took him to Rush Hospital, and that was his first experience with getting the right medications and everything. But like I said, I cannot stress this enough. If you think your child's on the spectrum, let's get some help. And it's not necessarily medication. It's the therapies. You have the speech therapy, occupational therapy, social skills, behavior therapy. And we are implementing a lot of those things within our programs that we have at the Beverly Center.
Okay, tell us again the phone number they need to call.
708-296-5651. You can go to our website at theanswerinc.org.
All right. Now,
how did you, I guess my question is, how did you empower your son? Because it sounds like, though he was on a certain spectrum, you still had influence with how he became independent with doing certain things.
Katrina and I talk about this all the time. I am not your typical parent. I don't treat Jason like he has a disability. I'm like, let's go, come on, put your clothes on. I'm just real. I'm just a real parent. I'm not that parent. Come on, honey. let's go. Come on, Jason. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, one of my neighbors when we lived in Broadview, I came downstairs and we met at the garbage can of Summit, and I introduced myself to her. I said, I'm in 2B or whatever the number. She said, I said, this is my son, Jason. She said, I thought his name was Hurry Up. She said, I hear you saying every morning, hurry up, Jason. Speaking of Jason, I have to tell you guys this funny story. So, and this is a story for if it's any parent out there that thinks that your child will never have reciprocal conversation, I want to give you some hope and some love and some empowerment. Jason necessarily does not have reciprocal conversation. If you ask him a question, sometimes he'll repeat it. If it's something he doesn't like, he'll say no. He knows no. But if it's something he likes, he'll repeat what you said. So the other day, I was sweeping up some trash, and I said, Jason, get the dustpan in the broom and get this up. And he got the dustpan. He was just standing there. I said, get the trash up. He said, say please. Because I have been teaching him please and thank you for the last 2 weeks. So what do I expect? Now, I was a little bit like, okay, you better be glad. Because he said it with intention, like, right, say please. Like, okay. He like, please.
That shows you he got some sense.
No, it shows you he's paying attention.
All of that.
And he does things when he gets ready. But guess what? I say, well, that's good trash. Say please. So again,
did you say please?
I did.
She said,
I did. I said.
That's all Jason.
I said, Jason, please get the trash. But you know that stories like that, and it's just so many that I hear from the other parents. I mean, even looking at the milestones of the children and the adults that come to our programs every Saturday, and I have to give my team an acknowledgement. Dana, Amanda, Maya, Pam, Sierra, Kendra. I hope I don't forget nobody.
That's funny that you said that. I was watching the Final Four the other day, and they did some interviews. Mm-hmm. Well, it was the preview of the Final Four. It was the Elite Eight, Sweet 16. And one of the coaches said, you train and then you trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you train your team, then you have to trust your
Absolutely.
team. How does that work for you?
You know what? I'm so glad that you said that, because as we grow, God has blessed the answers just tremendously, especially in this fiscal year. This is the largest budget that we've been working with in 16 years. I mean, thank you, God, because we've been able to bless so many people. But I just want to say this. Oftentimes people think with non-for-profits when I say, we got a grant for $150,000. But with that grant, each quarter, you have to submit paperwork to get reimbursed. It's not like the state say, here, Deborah, here's a check for $150,000 with you. No. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Okay. But you know what? Katrina and I talk about this all the time as it relates to team building.
Okay.
And you have to trust your team. You have to give them the opportunity to make a mistake, because if they don't make a mistake, how are they going to learn? So I had to learn how to let the baby off
mm-hmm.
and I've been doing pretty good.
God bless you.
I've been doing pretty good with that. My team is they have more responsibility, because I had to look at the fact that I am the founder and CEO. And certain things I have a team to do. Why are you over here doing this, Deborah, when you should be out doing CEO stuff?
Right.
But when it comes down to it, though, Deborah would be the one to pick up the trash and put out tablecloths and do whatever it is I need to do. But at the same time, I'm going to be at the table getting us what we need to get for the Answer Incorporated. But when I say team, we're a team. Mm-hmm. We're a team. Everybody works together.
Right.
With our team.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But so, Deborah, I'm so proud of you again. I keep saying that. And you've been through a lot of the struggles have made you stronger.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
The challenges have made you a champion in my eyes. And April is Autism Month.
Yes.
Talk to us. Tell us what you got going on.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah,
how much time?
Pull it up.
How much time do we have?
We got time.
You know, I want to start out with Saturday. You know, one goal that I prayed about this and I've been dreaming about it for so long. We talk about inclusion and diversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when the answer we have our dances, we invite everybody, especially kids. But I don't say this dance is for the disabled and the non-disabled. We are bridging the gap with our children. So we having a dance on Saturday at Schroeder Park. What's it? 13th, 2600 West 13th Avenue. He'll put
Schroeder Park in Broadview.
He'll put it on his page.
Yeah, we'll put it on his page.
And it's from 2 to 5. But we are raffling off Apple Watches for the youth, tablets. Lizzie G is going to be our entertainment. We have some local rappers that are going, and they just going to have some clean fun. But we're going to bridge the gap with the kids. So youth, parents, bring your kids to Schroeder Park on Saturday because we're going to feed them some good food and give them some prizes and just let them have a good time. And so that's the first thing.
Right, exactly.
But we have a whole calendar of events that's coming up. We are partnering with Buddy Bear Car Wash in Broadview. They are giving us today. I'm going to give you all these dates, but they're all going to be on our website as well. But the major thing I want to talk about, Chris, is our walkathon.
Okay.
It's May 6th, and it's at Proviso West High School. Now, the sole purpose of this walkathon that's been for the last 15 years is to raise funds to sponsor children and adults from age 7 to 50 to horseback riding camp in Plano, Illinois for an entire week. Now, this is not just an opportunity for your child to go to camp. It's an opportunity for you to have an entire week of respite. So while Jason's gone to camp, Deborah takes a vacation every year. He gets dropped off, and I go to the airport.
Ooh.
I come back a day before he does, and then I pick him up. So parents, you have to be intentional on your vacations. You have to be intentional. You don't have to go out of town if you don't want to go out of town. But send your kid to camp. Send them somewhere. And I promise you, I am not ever going to recommend an organization or a place that's not safe because I've had my kid there too. And I don't leave my kid with a lot of people. That's because he's always with me. Did I call him kid?
Yeah. But this is a national push for autism.
It is. Well, April 2nd is World Autism Day.
Okay.
April is Autism Awareness Month. But it has been, it's a law that April 2nd, which is Sunday, is Autism Awareness Day. And we actually have Autism Awareness Sunday at my church, Jordan Temple. I'm going to tell you when that date is. It is, and I should have, that will be April 23rd, Autism Awareness Sunday. And then we have, we're celebrating Autism Awareness Day at Lindop School on April 7th.
Okay.
We're having the car wash April 15th at Broadview Buddy Bear. Thank you so much, Phil.
Is that on 22nd Street? Where's that at?
I think it's like 22nd right off Cermak.
Yeah. Well, Cermak at 22nd and 17th.
22nd is Cermak. 22nd is
17th.
Right off 17th.
West of 7th.
You know what? It's on 21st Street and 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's say Cermak and 21st Street.
Okay, let's say that.
In Broadview.
Right.
The great village of Broadview, Mayor Thompson. And then, I'm really excited about this, guys. I connected with the autism dad in, I think it's Canada. And he has an organization called the Advocacy. And so we're going to do a Autism Dads podcast, a virtual podcast on the what was that date? The 24th. Yeah, the 24th. Okay. It's going to be on 24th. So everything will be on our website. I will make sure Musty Man puts it on his page.
Yes.
And because we have a lot of dates and a lot of opportunities for resources, for fun. We just wrapped up an expo at Malcolm X College and partnered with the Chicago Autism Network, Kimmy Matsamura, executive director. And we serviced close to 400 families. We had screeners there. Oh my God, it was just such a great day. But let me get back to the walkathon, because at the walkathon, we're going to have screeners. So if you think your child is on the spectrum, we're going to have occupational screeners. We're going to have speech therapists. So we're going to have at least 3 screeners, along with the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois, if you want to get your kidney scanned to make sure, because 2 people came last year. and they found out that they were in a situation that they need to go to the doctor because of this screening. So getting ahead of something is the best thing you can do. Because our bodies give us indicators. Yeah. We just ignore them. We be like, oh, my head was hurting all day long. Okay, right. I worked too hard, but when you know your head is hurting, so we want to make sure that we get those screeners, and then it's just gonna be a lot of fun and stuff. So yeah, that's May 6th. So all the things we're gonna be doing are gonna be on the website.
Deborah, I love you, man. Thank you for coming. You elevated our show.
Amen.
You made us. We reached the top.
Look, I said I wanted to come before you get 5 million views. And then, look, he wouldn't have invited me then, y'all. He would have been too important. Y'all know how Chris is.
Yeah, I wanted you to come back. You will be back.
I would definitely come back.
And, a lot of people say, Chris, why are you doing this? Well, there's a lot of people in the Chicagoland area that don't have a voice. And they're doing different things. And I want to give them that voice, give them that platform where they can tell us about what they're doing. And our donations for sponsorship or whatever people want to donate is fine. We don't have a set token. You can contact me at Chris Brown or contact Toya at Toya Capri on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm at DownTCB and Toya Capri again on Instagram. But we love you and we're glad that you're here. I want everybody to make sure that you contact the 717 Club to book your day parties or whatever the case you might be trying to do. But in life, don't take life for granted. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and make sure you love on somebody. This is the love movement. Next week we'll have the Chicago Chicken Shack King. And he has a story too called From Felonies to Franchises.
Yes.
Trevor Black, we'll see you next week. This is the love movement.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Good job. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Bye. Leave me hanging.